What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. Today we are making you genuinely powerful in Mortal Shell 2, and we are doing it fast. I have run this whole route myself and recorded every single pickup along the way. So this is not a theory video. By the end of it, you will have a second shell with a dash on it. You will have two weapons that most players never even find, and you will have a stack of Tarstones that completely change how your character fights. Here is the best part. Almost none of this asks you to be good at the game. It is mostly just knowing where to walk. I am on a pre-launch build, so the odd number might shift. The locations will not. Let us get moving. One rule before we set off, and it matters more than anything else in this video. Do not stop and fight everything. The entire point of this route is that you can walk most of it. When you spawn in, head down through the water and keep to your right. There are things up on the ridge that will shoot at you as you pass. You are not going to kill them yet, and you genuinely do not need to. Keep running straight and let them miss. If something does lock onto you, sidestep it rather than holding block. Blocking drains your guard energy and leaves you stunned wide open. Run this properly and you are through in about 2 minutes. Try to clear it properly and it takes 20 and you die. Now, most of what you're about to collect are called Tarstones. So let me explain them properly before we start grabbing them. Open your menu and there is a tab for them sitting right next to your inventory. They are equipable stones that rewrite how your character works. The game sorts them into 4 different types. Support stones buff you in general ways. Combat stones change what your weapon does when it lands. Infusions add an element onto a weapon or your sidearm. And ability stones hand you brand new special attacks. Here's the part that makes them worth chasing this early. Every single stone carries its own experience bar. You fight with one equipped and that bar fills on its own. Fill it and the stone jumps to a stronger tier. So an early stone is not a small bonus. It is something that keeps growing for your entire run. The bar on mine wanted 10,000 experience for a single tier. So treat this as a long game rather than something you flip in an afternoon. First stop, and this is the single biggest upgrade on the entire list. Follow that route down and you will come to a body lying on the ground. Walk up to it and summon it. You get a short cutscene and then you walk away with a whole new shell. This one is called Tiel, the Acolyte. What she gives you is a dash, and the dash on its own is worth the trip. Everything after this becomes easier because you can now move straight past fights you would otherwise have to win. She also brings her own bond level and her own set of memories to fill in later on. So take this before anything else. Every remaining stop on the route is faster once you are wearing her. Right, your first Tarstone. Head back the way you came and look for the wooden scaffolding standing out in the grass. Underneath it, there is a stone coffin with the lid shoved aside. Open that and you get the wounding stone. It is a combat stone, and what it does is brutally simple. Your melee attacks start inflicting something the game calls perforation. At the first tier, you are stacking 2 of those on every strike. Level it up, and that becomes 4, and then 7 per strike. That is a bleed effect bolted onto every swing you make. On a weapon that already hits hard, it is very close to free damage. Equip it now and let it level itself while you finish the rest of the route. Next up is the pool area, and getting in is half the problem. From the open grass, run across and up over that big pale rock ridge. On the far side, you are looking for a stone gateway with a lit brazier on either side of it. Head through there and follow the corridor down into the tunnels underneath. Clear the enemies out first, then look to your right-hand side because there is a section of wall you can smash straight through. Behind it, there is a press plate on the wall. That is the game's own name for it. Hit that plate and the gate ahead of you lifts open. Through there, you pick up 2 things. The first is the obsidian lathe sitting in a stone box. That is the item you carry back to France, and it unlocks sidearm upgrades at the Tarforge. I have a full video on that one with all the costs. The second is the Parasitic stone. Killing enemies while it is equipped grants you leech, starting at 1 stack per kill and climbing to 3. On your way out, hit the tree to get your resolve back, then shoot the marker above the door and it opens for you. Now get yourself back to Merrick, the merchant at the hub. He is sitting on 2 things that people walk straight past. Start with his sell menu. If you are carrying a Marsh pearl, it trades in for 2,000 coin all by itself. That is a huge amount of money this early in the game, and that pearl exists purely to be sold, so there is no reason to hold on to it. Take that money into his Tarstones tab and buy the Acolyte stone. It costs 2,000, which is exactly what the pearl just gave you. What it does is let you spend 40 resolve on a charge light attack. That charge hit lands with 15% extra critical chance and 150% critical damage. It turns an ordinary swing into a finisher anytime you have resolve spare. If you do not have a pearl yet, then here is where mine came from. Out in the marsh, there is a giant talking frog sitting near a beacon. His name is Gorf and he is hungry. Feed him a handful of the mushrooms you have been walking past, and he pays you in gold and a marsh pearl. Those mushrooms were free the entire time. While you are still standing there, open up his maps tab. This is the thing almost nobody bothers to check. Merrick sells maps that mark weapon locations directly onto your own map. There is one for the axe and dagger. There's one for the Great Martyr's Blade. There's another for the Clockwork Scythe and several more under those. Buying one turns a weapon you would never have stumbled across into a marker you can simply walk to. So if you have coin spare after the Acolyte stone, put it straight into a map. Finding an entire new weapon beats a small stat bump every single time, and a marked weapon is a detour you can do whenever you feel like it, rather than something you hope to trip over. Next stone, and this is the one I would call the best on the whole list, head over toward the singing women out in the ruins. Down among the barrels, there is another stone coffin sitting right out in the open. Inside it, you will find the Auspicious stone. One thing before you can open it, though, this section makes you make an offering at 3 separate spots first. Do all 3 of those, and the coffin opens up for you. I am not walking through the offerings here because that is a video on its own. What the stone gives you is a straight critical chance boost on your melee. That is exactly what you want on top of everything else you have gathered. Pair it with that charged attack from the Acolyte stone, and the numbers get silly very quickly. Mine also had a glimpse in the same container, so you're getting 2 pickups out of a single stop. Check every coffin you walk past out here, because they are clearly where this game hides the good stuff. Now for the weapons, there is a church area with a puzzle inside it, and at the end of that puzzle, you are handed the axe and the daggers. I am doing a separate video on the puzzle itself because it takes a while to walk through properly. What matters right now is why you want them. Your starting sword is slow, the daggers are fast, and the axe hits far harder than anything you are currently carrying. Having a quick option and a heavy option means you stop losing fights purely because you brought the wrong weapon. And remember what we just found at the merchant. Merrick sells the map that marks this exact location. So if you cannot find the way in, buy the map and follow the marker. 2 beacons left, and these hand out the biggest rewards on the route. Head for Mushroom Village first. Inside there is a shrine lit up with candles, with enemies spread through the building around it. Clear them out and cleanse that beacon. The moment it flips, you are given the Emberseed stone. This one is an infusion, which means it goes onto a weapon rather than into a stat. Put it on your sidearm and your shots start burning whatever they hit. A shotgun that sets things on fire is a very different weapon to the one you started with. Cleansing also leaves you the beacon itself as a checkpoint, so you stop losing ground every time a fight goes badly. Then make your way to the Mushroom Village gate beacon and be ready for this one. There is a large enemy holding the hall in there, and he does not go down quickly. Take your time with him and lean on that dash you picked up at the very start. Clear him out and cleanse that beacon. You walk away with the Volatile fragment. What this thing does is genuinely absurd for how early you can get it. Enemies you kill explode. In a game that throws groups at you constantly, one kill turning into a chain reaction rewrites entire fights. This is the strongest single pickup on the route, and it is exactly why I would not skip the gate. There are 2 more stones worth collecting while you're out this way, and this first one is easy to describe. Start from the Mushroom Village gate. From there, you head straight ahead and go through the wall in front of you. Tucked in behind it, there is a chest, and what is inside it is the Siegebreaker stone. This is a support stone, and it improves your ranged stagger damage. At the first tier, your ranged attacks deal 50% more stagger. That climbs to 100% and then to 150. Now think about what that actually means in a fight. Stagger is the meter you fill to break an enemy open for a riposte. So this turns your sidearm into a tool that cracks enemies wide open rather than just chipping away at them, which is the whole reason it belongs on this list so early. The second one pairs with it perfectly. It is called the Retribution stone, and you will find it out in the Gray Fog. This is another support stone, and its description spells out exactly what it wants from you. When an enemy is broken, you press the button and riposte them. What this stone does is increase how much that riposte hurts. 20% at the first tier, that climbs to 30 and then to 50. So the smart move here is to run these 2 stones together. Siegebreaker breaks enemies open with your gun, and Retribution makes the punish land for far more. That is a complete combo built out of 2 pickups you can collect in an afternoon. So here is the full shopping list in one place, 8 stones, and I picked up every one of them in a single run without leveling my character once. Notice how little overlap there is between them. Wounding is doing its work on your melee swings. Siegebreaker is busy buffing your gun instead. Emberseed rides along on a weapon as an element. And Retribution only matters once something is already broken. That is the whole reason this route is worth doing in one go. You are not collecting 8 versions of the same buff. You are collecting 8 pieces that each cover a different part of a fight. Screenshot this if it helps, because it is the fastest version of everything we just walked. Last piece, and this is what separates people who collected stones from people who actually got strong. Every stone you just picked up starts at level 1. To raise one, go back to France and use the Tar Forge. There is a menu sitting on it called Temper Tarstones. Pick a stone in there and the game shows you its experience bar. Once that bar is completely full, you can temper it and it steps up to the next tier. In my run, the tempering itself only charged me 100 coin, so the experience is the real gate here, not the money, and you fill that bar simply by fighting with the stone equipped, which means you should equip the ones you actually want to grow and then go and use them. So how does all of this actually go together? Remember those 4 categories because they are what makes this work. Support and combat and infusions and abilities all take their own separate stone, which means you are not choosing between most of these at all. Put wounding on so every swing you land is bleeding them. Run Siegebreaker and Retribution as a pair so your gun breaks them and your riposte finishes the job. Drop Emberseed onto your sidearm for the burn, and once the Volatile Fragment is on, crowds simply stop being a problem. That is a complete build assembled entirely out of pickups. You never had to grind a single level for any of it. And that is how you get properly strong in Mortal Shell 2 without grinding for it. Quick recap of the route. Take Tiel in the dash before anything else. Grab the wounding stone out of that coffin in the grass. The Lathe and the Parasitic stone both come out of the pool area. Sell your pearl and buy the Acolyte stone and a map with it. The Auspicious stone is waiting for you out in the ruins. Then cleanse both mushroom beacons for the Emberseed and the Volatile Fragment. I have plenty more Mortal Shell 2 guides on the way, including that axe and dagger puzzle on its own. So subscribe and turn your notifications on for those. Tell me down in the comments which stone you ended up building around. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.